Everybody here? A lot of people in here.
Right.
Can everybody hear me all right?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. There's a lot of people in here. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Try to do this without a weird mic stand. Wow. Where do we even start? We hope that we get a couple hundred people in here, and this is probably way more than a couple. I think that me and the guys sitting up here are, really excited about the response that we're getting from, Facebook and from people sending in emails and questions about this. There's a lot of people that have done a lot of work to get to even just having this meeting. Hopefully we can shed some light.
Turn up the volume.
Go for it.
Is that somebody back by the speaker?
Yep, that's better. Yeah, better.
You turning it up? Is it up?
Yes.
Awesome, thanks. Okay, so by now everybody should know at least what Wonderland is.
The mic close to your face so people can hear you.
The mic is practically in my mouth.
Just talk loud, Ab.
I'm going to yell real loud.
All right. So by now everybody knows basically this is, about Wonderland. And we kind of start off with this quote. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm kind of obsessed with Willy Wonka and this idea of, creating a world of your own. And I think it's kind of weird that we're taking a couple people and smashing our dreams together. And a lot of people in the room have very similar dreams. Just kind of wanted to start with Columbus as a city, where we're all living, and the way we all interact in the city is a lot different than around the country. People compare us to New York and LA and things like that, and I think that the reason there's so many people in this room is that there's a lot of people in Columbus that care about a lot of things, and it's a pretty awesome city to live in right now. This kind of goes into that. We have, we're always accused of being a cow town, and we're small, and we're too neighborly, and this is a place to raise a family, not to have a nightlife and things like that. But I see a lot of that as being, some of the things that are working for Columbus are the fact that everybody's really friendly and everybody's really connected. And I'm sure there's people meeting each other in the room today, and it's really nice that we can do that and not feel alienated or isolated. Some other things that Columbus is, and this is a poster made by our friend Daniel Fox, right in the party. There's not only friendly people here, but there's a lot of people doing some really interesting things. Some smart, creative people doing interesting businesses, interesting, art ventures.
Pardon me, is there any way to turn the volume up in the back?
Yes, go to the back of the speaker and turn the knob. Thank you. That sounded like Alex. Was that Alex?
Yeah, that is.
Hey, Alex. So we had to bring this up. In 2007, the city and a bunch of independent artists all got together and said, hey, Columbus is the independent art capital of the world. And at the time, there was a lot of argument about, is that something that's true, is it not? And what it was a starting point for just kind of announcing the fact that this is a really creative city. There's a lot of good things going on, a lot of energy going on. And, I'd like to give some credit to Mike Reed, even though he's going to nod his head no. When you say something like this, it's a matter of putting your foot down and saying, we're going to be something. And then now you're trying to do those things. And there's a lot of people that have put a lot of time and effort in and are trying to make this kind of thing happen. And, like it or not, we're working towards that. There's a lot of things going on that are going to make this happen. With that, there's this the need for a space for these things to occur in has become increasingly important. Starting in the short north and the buggy works and buildings that have happened over time, there's been a lot of people that have organized groups and put things together in a way that sort of planted the seed. And then look at what the short north has grown into. It's become this bustling center of gallery hop and creative everything. Junction View Studios is a dirty warehouse, and a bunch of artists move in, and we start having art exhibitions, and we start doing things, and teams start forming, and people start collaborating, and then all of a sudden you have this really strong creative community. You take the combination of those things, and you can see the need for spaces like that. I think the number of people in this room right now is probably a testament to the need for just having a venue for things like this. That's the spaces I was going to talk about. So now you have this other phenomenon that's happening, or has been happening for a really long time. People move into spaces, they make it awesome, and then it goes away. And this isn't just limited to Junction View as a building. This is happening in the short north to a certain extent. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. And this is a view that I hold, and I'm sure people have difference of opinion, but you have something like the short north that starts off relatively small, and galleries move in and artists move in and they fix the place up, and then retailers start seeing the advantage of that, and restaurants start seeing the advantage of that. And that neighborhood gets bigger and better, and then all of a sudden it becomes too expensive for the people that originally moved there to exist in those places. Junction View will give way to Grandview Yard at some point. And in my opinion, that's progress for the city. If we really, if we're gonna keep comparing ourselves to the New York, Chelsea, Soho, Greenwich Village, where did they start? They expanded. Well, we can't just keep relying on single spaces and rely on the short north or Junction View or Buggy Works. And those things are going to grow and develop. So that's kind of where this comes in. And there's a sort of a prequel to this. There's a lot of energy has gone into making things like Agora and Independence Day happen, where these groups start combining together. And I'd like to at least thank Mike Brown from the city of Columbus for kind of recognizing some of the people that are putting action to things and pushing them together. And then when things like a building like this open up, he kind of pushes those people together cleverly and says, hey, you guys should be working together. And that's not to discount all the other groups that have worked to do things like this before. Every bit of, every other, somebody had an idea, they wanted to open a space, or somebody started some venture that didn't work, or somebody started a space that's much smaller. Those things are all building blocks. We have a history of these things starting to happen. Columbus isn't a big industrial city. Like if you go to Cleveland, you can find a warehouse space for super cheap anywhere. And in Columbus, it's not like that. And the kinds of spaces that are available to do large projects, large warehouse facilities aren't as, they're not as dense. And it also kind of forces people to move out into the outskirts. And that's kind of what the artists have been doing, is they're moving, you move into the next neighborhood and you fix it up. Well, finding a space that is somewhere where it's going to be beneficial for the artists is pretty important. And a building like this becomes sort of it's at a weird crux where it has just enough proximity to things that have already happened and just enough distance from things that are happening to, we can expand and we can grow, but we're not on an island.